The inside experience of a maiden Olympics. U.S. skateboarder Minna Stess, our guest in this edition of Destination Paris. Gunning for a second gold, Noah Lyles, the favorite in the men's 200 meters as the athletics portion of the game heads into the home stretch. Arguably the toughest of marathons, and it's happening in the Seine. We dive into the trials and tribulations of the 10-kilometer long-distance swim. Hi everyone, welcome to Destination Paris. I'm François Picard in the company of Daily Beast contributing editor Craig Capitas. How are you?
Excited. We have a real Olympian in the studio.
We do. Minna Stess is with us. Before we turn to our guest, let's first, though, go live to the National Stadium north of Paris in Saint-Denis. And France 24's Selena Sykes, who joins us from there. Selena, it's all about to happen in the men's 200 meters.
That's right. As you said, Francois, all eyes will be on Noah Lyles. Can he make that historic sprint double? He would be the first man to do so since the great Usain Bolt. And, well, he'll be feeling pretty confident, won't he, after that spectacular victory in the men's 100-meter final by 5 thousandths of a second, stunning the world with that spectacular run from the young American. And he'll be feeling pretty confident because this is, of course, his speciality, the 200 meters, and he's a three-time world champion in this event. He'll be maybe looking to repeat some of the form that he had about 2 years ago when he set the third fastest time of all time at 19.31 seconds, though he'll have some stiff competition, particularly from his compatriots in Team USA, starting with Kenny Bendenarek, who finished ahead of him in Tokyo 3 years ago, getting the silver ahead of Lyles, who had to settle for bronze. There's also Arian Knighton, who just missed out on the podium 3 years ago. He'll be hungry to get his medal here too. Outside of Team USA, maybe Botswana's Letsal Tobogo will be looking to cause an upset for the Americans. And of course, there's also the defending Olympic champion in this event, Andre de Grassa from Canada, who will be looking to defend his title.
Selena, it's the final Thursday of the Games. Can you believe it that we're more than past the midway point of the athletics competition?
Yeah, that's right. And really coming to the end of the Games in general, Francois, there's still a lot of people out and about in Paris. As you can look behind me, there's already a lot of people queuing up to get in to the Stade de France. There's still a lot of fans everywhere you go. And all the comments you're getting everywhere is just how much people are enjoying this Olympic Games. You meet people who say it's their first Games. You're meeting people who said it's their fourth or their fifth. There's a big mix here. Obviously, a lot of Europeans making the journey over to Europe, a lot of Americans too. Of course, they really are big fans of the Olympics, and just good, positive comments all round. A lot of people in particular I've spoken to saying that they're a big fan of the Champions Park. That's obviously a first at the Olympics, having this kind of public space where anyone can go to celebrate with athletes that come by with their medals. We were at La Villette earlier, which is where a lot of the country houses are, the Club France, India, Colombia, Brazil. There's just a great international atmosphere all round, and I think a lot of people will be hoping that this atmosphere could maybe stay after the Olympics, and obviously we'll be running through to the Paralympics taking place at the end of August.
And that's Selena Sykes, whose day began at the table tennis competition. The indefatigable Selena Sykes getting ready there for the athletics. Thanks for that live update. So, second time around at these games for skateboarding as an Olympic sport. First Games for 18-year-old Minna Stess of Petaluma, California. That's near San Francisco. You competed in the women's park competition. Your thoughts? Your events are over. You're here for the full 2 weeks. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've been here for a while. So I did the opening ceremonies, and that was really cool.
Does it seem like a million years ago?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of just like in like a dream, I guess. I'm just like, oh, I'm still here. I'm at the Olympics still. I'm at the, crazy thing, I'm at the Olympics and I'm still here too.
Now, you fell in qualifiers and told the San Francisco Chronicle, your local paper, that you were really nervous on the big stage. You've won medals at World Championships.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Olympics, though. How could you not be nervous?
It's different.
It's different, but it felt the same, but like a little different. So I don't know. It's also skateboarding. Sometimes you land your stuff, sometimes you don't.
What's different between the Olympics and the X Games?
I mean, the Olympics is like, such a big stage, and X Games is super cool. I don't know, X Games are really fun as well, but there's definitely a pretty big difference. But this is my first Olympics, so it was cool to experience it, and yeah, it was definitely different.
People are, I guess, used to watching highlight clips where everything is perfect. And you told one reporter this week that you practice a sport where 90% of the time you fall.
Yeah. Skateboarding is 90% falling, and
Do the fans get it?
I don't know. I feel like if you've touched a skateboard, you understand it just because it's way harder than it looks. But especially if you're watching street and stuff, they're falling all the time. And then in park, you're doing 45-second runs, so it's it's hard to stay on for 45 seconds doing your hardest tricks.
Yeah, because on Wednesday we saw a 3,000-meter steeplechase competitor fall and get knocked out.
Oh, wow.
We saw a taekwondo competitor in the semifinals get seriously injured. And they said, we practice sports where that's part of the risk. It's part of the game. Is it the same with skateboarding?
Yeah, I feel like skateboarding is a little different. It's, it's not the norm. It's definitely something that, you can make your own and put your own touch on it, which I like because, it's not like you're not supposed to do it a certain way. It's you can make it your own. So
Now, tell me about that board. Is that custom built, or do you just go into the shop and take it off the rack and go skating?
Well, thankfully I have sponsors. So it's a Santa Cruz board. It's a Fabiana Delfino board. I only ride her board. She's a good friend of mine. It's her pro board, and it has a smaller wheelbase, which I don't know if you guys understand what that means. I don't really, to be honest, but I'm kind of yeah, I just skate this board.
But I could go into the store and buy that same board and break my collarbone and dislocate my elbow.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Yeah. That is true. I did break and dislocate my elbow, so yeah, you could.
You could do that. Let me ask you, you've seen one skate park, you've seen them all, right? I mean, we could show the vantage point of the San Francisco Chronicle reporter's view when you competed. And you could see that, it's just a regular skate park at the Place de la Concorde. Okay, there's the Eiffel Tower, the Place de la Concorde, and the Grand Palais in the background. Did it feel like just another skate park?
No, definitely not. I mean, it did when I was skating it, but then like seeing the huge Olympic rings on the course, I'm like, okay, this really feels like I'm at the Olympics. Like I was talking to my friend who was doing street, and she's like, do you really feel like I was skating at the Olympics? And I was like, well, I feel like I'm going to be feeling like I am because there's huge Olympic rings on the course I'm just seeing all the time, and there's so many people in the stands, and yeah, it was crazy.
This was your first trip to France?
Yeah.
Tell us about the croissants.
Well, I had
you like croissants, we understand.
I do. I did have them in the village, though. I did actually have one not in the village. That one was better than the ones that were in the village. The village ones are kind of...
So you've become a connoisseur of croissants. I think this is terrific.
Tell us about the village, because it's difficult for journalists to get an access, and the food is part of the issue, of course, when you're inside of it. Some say it's great, others say it's not. What are your thoughts on being surrounded? You're rubbing elbows with athletes, some of whom come from very exotic places, perhaps for you, and some who are very famous for you.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, we did bump into Noah Lyles actually in the Team USA building, so that was crazy. And only me and Tom knew who he was. And then Tate was.
So what do? You act cool, and it's like, well, we're just athletes. Are you?
It's like it doesn't even like. There's not even like a weird thing. It's like, oh, we're just like random people just talking to each other, and then like kind of know who they are or you don't. And me and Tom were like, oh, we know who that was. And Tate's like, who's that? And we're like, it's the fastest man. He's like, oh my god, I need a pin. And try to get him for a pin, and he's like, he was too fast. I couldn't get a pin. He couldn't get a pin. But the village has been good, though. The food's a hit or miss.
What's the problem with the food? Tell us.
Well, there's some chicken with some pink in it, a little bit. I did see that today.
They like stuff rare here.
Especially
but
steak.
Chicken, though, that should not be pink.
No, not even in France. And what about, because this was one of the issues before the games, was it's never going to work because you don't have air conditioning in the athletes' dormitories. Have you been sleeping okay? Is it all right?
Yeah, well, USA brought our own air conditioning.
You
so
brought your own air conditioning.
I didn't bring it. Team USA did. So my room just has a little AC unit sticking out the door, which kind of makes it a little louder at night because the door's open because the AC has to go out.
Have you ever seen French air conditioning? It's a contradiction in terms.
It's not as hot. We were talking about this the other night. More and more people are complaining that athletes forego the athletes' village experience.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's my first Olympics. I wanted to experience it all, and the village is definitely a big part of that. So, I don't know. It's been good, though, but sometimes I'm just kind of over the food and want to get out and see my family and eat, like, real food, which is good.
We're going to see you in LA, right?
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
What do you mean, hopefully?
Hopefully.
I mean, you will.
We will.
You will,
All right. And you're just 18 years young, which seems young to us chronologically challenged fellas, but 18's not as young as 8 years old.
Yeah.
My name is Minna, and I'm 8 years old, and I'm going to jump in the 28 feet at the mega ramp.
That's been put out by your sponsors. Uh-huh. Does that seem like a million years ago, too?
Yeah. I mean, I remember it so clearly, though, but I don't know. That's a massive ramp that I dropped in when I was 8. I can't believe that I did that, to be honest. My brother thought I was going to die, so he was down there. I remember him saying, like, oh, she's not, like...
But
you've
girls can skate, right?
What kind of question is that? Obviously.
Medals are great, but so is getting the best view in the world on the first ever Olympic opening ceremony that was staged outside of a stadium. Minna Stess, tell us about being on that boat. We saw your Instagram feed where you're hanging out with Steph Curry and the likes.
That was so cool. I mean, I'm surprised we all fit on the boat. It was a pretty big boat, but yeah, LeBron was on there. Yeah, I was kind of scared to ask him for a picture, so I kind of just took one because he's like super tall and intimidating. But I was waiting for the bathroom and I saw Steph Curry like right above, and I was like, "Oh, Steph, can we get a picture?" And he was like, "Yeah." And so that was a good moment. And
wonderful.
It was raining. Had the ponchos, so yeah. But it was fun though. I think the rain kind of made it a little more fun, and the adrenaline of us just
made it more fun.
I think it made it more fun. I mean, I was pretty like yeah. We filmed a little TikTok in front of the Eiffel Tower. I'm not really a dancer, but I am for the Olympics, I guess.
All right, well, Minna Stess's friend Steph Curry is in action later. Clovis Caselli has got his mind set on basketball. As we speak, France is playing Germany in the semifinal. A bit of a grudge match. Tell us where you are, Clovis.
Well, I'm outside the Place de l'Hôtel de Ville, and I've got quite a good view here too, with the City Hall and the Seine River next to me, and of course Notre Dame. And behind me, you've got thousands of supporters from all over the world, mostly French, has to be said, watching France against Germany in basketball. Time for revenge for Les Bleus after their crushing defeat in the group stage, except that this time it's the semi-finals. And Les Bleus did have a difficult start, so we'll have to wait and see in these semi-finals if they manage to make it through to the finals and possibly face Team USA, the dream team. They will be playing later on tonight against Serbia. Let me tell you, Francois, the atmosphere here is great. Thousands of people, despite the boiling temperatures, and hundreds of people outside queuing to get in. Earlier, I was talking to some French people who told me that they came specially here tonight. They've been going back and forth from Angers, which is, I believe, about 3 hours by car from Paris, back and forth from Angers to be here tonight, where it's all happening. Even though they're not in the stadium, they didn't manage to get a ticket, they would still wanted to be in Paris with other French people watching as close as possible to the stadium this semi-final against Germany.
Hey, Minna Stess is listening, so tell us about your Wednesday stakeout of Team USA's hotel.
Well, I saw Stephen Curry also, not like your guest, because I didn't actually get to talk to him. The Team USA, the Dream Team, was at their hotel, and they had a day to relax, of course, after their victory against Brazil. And I have to say that the American players didn't stop for the fans, didn't stop for the journalists. They kind of waved at us, and I felt a bit bad for the supporters, the fans who stood outside the hotel all day hoping to get an autograph. And I didn't see anyone get an autograph. At least they got to see the players from very close, but they didn't get to take a picture with them, unfortunately.
All right. Clovis Cazelli, hope there'll be more cheering behind you when it's all over between France and Germany. Many thanks for joining us live there outside of Paris City Hall. We're with skateboarder Minna Stess, Craig Capitas, and now we're joined by Jean-Émile Jamine, who's from our sports desk. Jean-Émile, let's talk about Team USA for a second, because later they're in action against the semifinal, which some say should have been the final. Against Serbia.
Absolutely. I mean, these are star-studded teams, and a lot of those Serbian players playing in the NBA. Least of all, we have to mention straight away Nikola Jokic, the Denver Nuggets man, because he could be a difference maker against this USA team. It's Dream Team 2, really. And we're talking about Steph Curry, the Golden State Warriors man, and he's going to be so crucial in that game. But Nikola Jokic, he only played 30 minutes against the USA in their match previously in these Olympics. Now, the USA did beat Serbia. They beat them 110-84. So it was something that you could say is expected, given that dream team. But in that time, the Serb claimed 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists that he was on that court, just 30 minutes. That is a huge amount. So you've got Nikola Jokic, you've got Bogdan Bogdanovic. These are real big names in the Serbian outfit. But of course, then you're coming against one of the best teams of all time. And they've added Steph Curry. Astonishingly, this is his first Olympic Games. They've got LeBron James, they've got Kevin Durant, they've got Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum. I mean, these are just astonishing players. And maybe, finally, the NBA All-Stars, the American players, can prove Noah Lyles wrong and beat the best of the world, because we remember his quote, the gold medalist, saying, America, champions of what? The world? No, it's the United States when they're talking about the NBA. Now they can prove that they are champions of the world if they beat the Serbs and go on to win the final.
What sports have you been able to capture? Have you been able to go to any events?
I was going to go to gymnastics, but I was so tired from practice. Honestly, I haven't been to a single event. But my brother and my dad are at France versus Germany right now, actually.
Oh, that's a hot ticket.
Yeah, so they're there. They're enjoying it. But yeah, I haven't been able to check everything out. Hopefully, I'll have some time next couple days.
What would you like to see?
Honestly, anything. I'm down to see anything at this point, anything. But basketball, obviously, for sure.
What else have you got among today's events to tell us about?
Well, I think one of the most unique events, if you ever really want to watch a real human Spider-Man, is the speed climbing. We were treated to an absolute spectacle from Vedrik Leonardo, the Indonesian, and he won the first gold medal for Indonesia outside of badminton in their Olympic history. So a real congratulations to him. He climbed that wall in just 4.75 seconds. It's a massive wall, and that was only just 0.02 seconds ahead of his Chinese compatriot Wu Peng. He claimed silver. But possibly the more interesting story there was that Sam Watson of the USA, he raced up the wall in the gold medal match, but in the bronze medal, in doing so, he set a world record in that bronze medal race up the wall. That was 4.74 seconds. Huge congratulations to him. Indonesia, though, take the gold.
What's great about the Olympics is the events start early in the morning and finish late at night. And early in the morning was marathon swimming, Jean-Émile.
Yeah, and the Netherlands taking that. And it is a legend of marathon swimming in Sharon van Vrovendal. She claimed the marathon in 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 34 seconds. An astonishing win for her, because that makes her the first ever athlete to win 2 Olympic golds in marathon swimming. She won it back in Rio, claimed silver in Tokyo, and now she's back to gold in Paris. Really well done to her.
All right, let's talk for a second here about marathon swimming. It's the equivalent of 200 laps in an Olympic-sized pool, except that, well, half the time you swim is upstream. It's in the River Seine that the women took the plunge this morning, Craig Capitas.
Yeah, well, the 10,000 meter swim in the Seine is only for the brave and the fully inoculated. You're not going to find any anti-vaxxers. But I think at this point, as terrific as the race is, the reality of the Seine is that swimming in the Seine is now a bore. What are we going to do next? What new height can we conquer here in Paris that we haven't been able to? We can swim in the Seine now. So what? When can we?
What, it's like going to the moon once it's been done?
I want to see us skateboarding down the Eiffel Tower. I mean, can we do that? Can we do something like that? Something really terrific?
But what about the concept of the word marathon? Does it apply here? Marathon, the word marathon comes because it was a battle where the messenger went from the city of Marathon to Athens, 42 kilometers.
And said we won.
And died because he was so exhausted.
That's right.
But
here with all the supplements,
is it right to call it marathon swimming? Is it the equivalent of the marathon road
Why
race?
not? It's the Olympics. They can do whatever they want. I mean, come on. It's the Olympics. It's the biggest sports party on earth. And I think what happens when you get towards the end of games is people start quibbling about this, that, and the other thing, right? This is the Olympics. We're sitting here with an Olympian. I mean, this is a big deal. Being an Olympian is a huge, huge deal. And whether you want to call it a marathon or a walk in the park, it really doesn't matter. Everyone's here is participating. They're having a great time. It's been wonderful.
We talk about rubbing elbows. And you're rubbing elbows here. This is a sport that until the 1950s didn't even exist. And and as an Olympic sport, it's only second time around. When you think about things like the marathon, wrestling, these sports that date back to ancient Greece and beyond, your thoughts about where does skateboard lie, excuse the pun, in the pantheon of sports?
I mean, I don't know. Skateboarding's a different thing. It's not like there's there's history behind it. It's just like a fun thing. I feel like it's good to have those fun events in the Olympics for sure. It's like to show people what skateboarding really is. It's just something that we enjoy and that we have fun with and like doing with our friends and happen to be at the Olympics doing it with our friends, so it's kind of just like the best of both worlds.
You said a 151-year-old man who was doing the skateboarding.
Andy Mack.
For Team GP.
Yeah. Andy Mack's a legend.
British guy.
Yeah, no, he's a legend. He has like the most X Games medals. Like he's so sick. He's one of the best skaters, and he's still so good. And that's obviously why he's.
Why do you have a 12-year-old and a 51-year-old in the same competition? What are your thoughts on that?
Skateboarding is just like a sport for everyone. I mean, you can start a lot of people start when they're like 16 or start when you're 2. I started when I was 2, and then people are like, oh, I didn't start till I was 16. Oh, I'm like,
a lot of these sports where it's precocious, the athletes, like I'm thinking of things like figure skating or gymnastics, the athletes are in a bubble.
Yeah.
It seems like skateboarding's not the case. You're mixed with everyone.
Yeah, you can choose to do the Olympics and go through all the competitions, or just choose to skate with your friends and film videos and just have fun. But I think they're both fun at skateboarding. Skateboarding's just fun.
Rugby sevens on skateboards. What do you think?
I think it is brilliant.
Yeah. Hey, 30 years ago, they
He's
thought
very
bringing
polite,
skateboarding
isn't
in
he?
here would be ridiculous.
I'm just picturing, like Antoine Dupont, coming back on a skateboard. I mean, he can do anything, so why
There
not
you go.
do it on a skateboard?
Coming up, we to bookend this edition of Destination Paris, we mentioned the athletics at the beginning. We have to mention them again when your show comes on in 90 minutes' time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big one, the 200-meter men's final. I think that is just going to cement a place in history for Noah Lyles if he can manage it. If not, well, I mean, destiny beckons for someone else, and that is the joy of what we're seeing unfold in Paris.
And the women's 400-meter hurdles as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of my favorites to watch, I was at the 400 women's heats at the Stade de France. And I tell you, I think that is possibly the hardest race that you can do, because not only are you running a distance all around the track, but getting over those hurdles when they come. It's like the steeplechase on steroids. It's quite immense.
Don't mention
But don't mention, I won't mention that
word
word.
steroids. Cut that out. Gallery.
Craig Kafidas, Jean-Emile Jamin, Minna Stess, thank you for being with us here.
Yes, Thank you. This is great.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of Destination Paris.